So the goal today is, well, first of all, finish this Flutter book. Finish learning more effective ways to do stuff, and just, get things done faster just by learning the different methods people use, so I don't get stuck in one way, and kind of keep growing as I use Flutter, right? Kind of learn the ins and outs even deeper. And then also today, a lot of bug fixes, minor little changes like fonts and stuff. As we get closer to launch, just trying to polish it up to make it, like a real app, right? And less of a beta and more of an actual functioning, usable app. As we start this new year, there's a lot of reflecting back on, 2021 or even 2020. Like, what did you do in the past? What are you gonna do better this year? What are your goals this year? And so, it kind of reflecting, right? And I think one of the most important things you can do when doing your startup and stuff is you really gotta be self-accountable. And there's many ways to do this, but I think one of the most simple is a to-do list, right? You gotta know what you're doing. Like, what do you have to do next? What's the goal today? What do we gotta get done? Because there's so much going on, it's easy to forget, like, oh shoot, I was supposed to contact this person or do this little thing and I forgot, and so you lose reputation, people think you're a flake, so it's important to make a to-do list so things get done, and also so you don't let days and hours go by where you're like, oh shoot, I was supposed to be doing something, when really you had a ton to do, but you just kind of let it go. And a to-do list, if you're a solo startup, I guess this may not apply, but if you're in a team, you can all share that to-do list, and you can see what person 1 is doing and what I'm doing and what person 3 is doing, so you guys are all on the same page and there's no confusion of who's doing what's getting done, what time. And I think one of the hardest things about a to-do list is it's ever changing, right? So I can sit down here and say, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. And then W comes out of nowhere, right? Like, oh shoot, I wasn't planning for that. And so and this what makes planning a to-do list or a calendar really hard, is because life happens and things get in the way, and it's not always, hey, at 9 a.m. I'm gonna do this, 10 a.m. I'm gonna do this, 11 a.m. I'm gonna do this. Things happen, people get in the way, new things pop up, you may get an emergency text, whatever, right? And so I think that's why it's important to have an adaptive to-do list, where it's like, hey, this is roughly going to take me about 3 hours, this is going to take me roughly 3 hours, but here's 2 hours in my schedule of just in case room, so maybe if I need to move this an hour, this 30 minutes, and leave enough room so if something does happen, you're not like, oh well, there goes the whole schedule. And it's very defeating, like if your schedule gets messed up at 11 a.m., mentally you could be out the rest of the day, because it's like, well, I'm not on schedule, what's the point now? And it's easier to get even more behind schedule because you're like, well, I already failed. And so it's important to leave time slots and all that, so you don't mentally give up. And I think one of my favorite versions of that is the Combine board. And if you're familiar with Scrum or Agile or anything in that ecosystem, you don't even have to be involved to use a Combine board, right? And all it is, well, here, let me show you. So all it is I'll have a to-do list, and then I'll write it down, I'll write the time estimate, and it will be a to-do list, what I'm doing, and then we're gonna put the done in another category. And so it's pretty much to do, doing, done. And it just makes it more adaptive, so there's no schedule or anything. And you can also have a physical one, like I have sticky notes right here, and then I'll have a whiteboard right here. I'm not using it right now. I'll usually only use the physical one if I'm gonna stay home for the day or I'm gonna be around, but if I'm on the move, I'll use something like this, so it's digitally with me at any time I go. So I was sitting here editing this video and I realized I never even made an outro, so this kind of ties back into that idea of prepare for the unexpected, right? Like, I'm sitting here almost a week later from when I filmed this video, and I wasn't expecting to, film an outro, but it happens, right? So we have to leave that in our schedule to, give us time to do things. Like maybe you're doing something and you need, like, let's say for example, Like I'm sitting here and, you know, I don't have a whiteboard marker and I'm supposed to be sketching ideas on a whiteboard. Well, you need to run to Walmart or the local grocery store to go get that, right? So, you know, that's something you weren't expecting, but you have to have that time built into your schedule to do that, and you have to have the flexibility and ability to adapt, because it's so easy to fall back once you miss something. Like once you miss a step in the calendar, you're like, it demotivates you and it ruins your motivation cycle, and you know, it's easy to fall down, right? But so yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Goodbye. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you want to support us in any way, please download our app and give us any feedback, and watch these 2 other videos. Have a good day.